I'm going to show you in this video how to work the C2B or the cable to back without a cable needle. I have two methods that you can use and you can choose which method that you prefer. So normally the cable to back is done with a cable needle. I don't actually have a cable needle, so I'm going to use a DPN. And what you normally do is you are going to take your first stitch and you're going to hold it to the back. That's why it's called cable to back. And then you're going to knit this stitch here from your left needle. And then you are going to knit the stitch from your cable needle. And there is your C2B. So that works, but it's a little bit cumbersome. And I think if you can learn to knit the C2B without a cable needle, you will find that your knitting will speed up considerably. And this pattern has a lot of cables in it. So hopefully by the time you are done, you will be more efficient in this method. So the first method I'm going to show you is my favorite method to use, but you can choose which one works best for you. So in this first method, what we're going to do is we're going to knit these two stitches at the same time, but we're going to keep them on the left needle. So we need to knit this first stitch or the second stitch first because it needs to cross over this first stitch. So taking your right needle, I usually give it a little bit of a tug here just so it's a little bit looser. Then I'm going to put my right needle in as if to knit, and I'm going to knit that stitch like so. And now I need to knit this first stitch as well. So using my thumb, I take this second stitch and pull it back just a little bit. And then my first stitch is ready to knit. And then I just knit that stitch, and then we just slip those stitches off at the same time. And then you can give it a little bit of tension tug so they're not too loose. And then I will show you that again, this C2B without a cable needle. Okay, so we're going to knit these two stitches at the same time and keep them on the left needle, and then slip them off at the same time. So we need to knit this second stitch first, again, because it needs to cross over this first stitch. Using my right needle, give it a little bit of a tug, gentle tug, and then I'm going to knit that stitch. And then I need to knit the first stitch. So using my thumb, I pull the second stitch back just a little bit, and I knit that first stitch and pull them off the needle at the same time. And there is my C2B. And I will do that one more time. Okay, so here we are. So second stitch first, we're going to knit that stitch, and then using our thumb, pull it back, knit the first stitch, and then just slip them gently off the needle at the same time, and then giving that a little bit of a tension tug. And then I'm going to do it just one more time here, and to show you how quickly this stitch cable can actually work. There we go, there's our C2B. And you can tell that once you master this method, you can knit these cables a lot faster than using a cable needle. So the second method of working the C2B without a cable needle is a little different, and it involves dropping one of our stitches. Because what we're going to do is we're going to switch the position of these two stitches on the left needle, and then we're going to knit them. So in order to do the switch without a cable needle, we need to drop this stitch off. So what you're going to do is taking your right needle, you're going to slip it through this second stitch purlwise, and then we're slowly going to slip both of these stitches off the left needle. And this is where our first stitch drops. So taking your left needle, you're just going to pick up that stitch and place it back onto your left needle. And then the stitch on our right needle goes back to our left needle. And there we have successfully switched the positions of these two stitches. And then all we need to do now is to knit them. Knit one and knit two. And there is our C2B. And I'll show you this a couple more times. So what you're going to do is we're going to switch the position of these 2 stitches. So taking our right needle, we're going to slip through this 2nd stitch purlwise. Then we're going to slowly slip both of these stitches off the left needle. And then we're going to grab this stitch, drop stitch with our left needle. And then we're going to place this first stitch this stitch from our right needle back to our left needle. And now they're in position to knit. So we just need to knit them. And there is our C2B. I'll do that one more time. Okay, so here we are. Again, taking our right needle, slipping it purlwise through this 2nd stitch, and then slowly slip them off, and then pick up this drop stitch, put it on our left needle, and then taking this stitch from our right needle and placing it back to our left needle, and then just knitting them off the left needle. And that is very easy to do. If you're okay with dropping a stitch, it actually isn't as scary as it might seem. But good luck, choose which method that you want to use. And then by the time you are finished with this pattern, I hope that you have mastered how to work the C2B without a cable needle. Good luck.